Hey guys, how you doing? I hope everything is well. Everything is good with me. Yeah, I want to talk about something that is very, very, very scary and very important. Um, it's about a assistant principal that was in her school, and we had a kid that was losing it, out of control, and she went in there. Let me just read it to you, then I'll tell you a video. It says North Texas assistant principal says she was blinded by the irate student. Assistant principal of North Texas Middle School was airlifted to a hospital after she was attacked by a student on August 15th. Revealed on Tuesday, the attack knocked her right eye out. It knocked her eye out, y'all. This kid was just losing it. Oh my God. It knocked it out of the socket. And doctor says she had lost sight in that eye. The attack happened at Coruscant Independent School District, Collins Intermediate School. Assistant Principal Condra Rogers described the ordeal at Tuesday morning news conference, detailing the moments before a student threw a wooden hanger at her eye. He threw a chair first. He threw a chair at her. When she got there, everybody was in the hallway, but he stayed in the classroom. So when she said she was calm, she went in there, she just tried to talk him down, to ease him or whatever. But he picked up the chair to throw it at her. She said the first chair he threw at her, she caught. Then he threw a second chair. Then another assistant principal came, and the kid tried to attack that assistant principal too. This kid just was wilding. Okay. Roger said during a lunch on August 15, a teacher in a classroom with students with behavioral issues called for help. When Rogers arrived in the classroom, she said there was a student who was assaulted by another student who was still in the classroom. When she entered the classroom, Rogers said the student was irate, and the room was. She said when she got in there, the room was ramshacked. Like it was a mess. Like the student was. The kid. It was for kids with behavioral problems. I've been in that situation where I've been when my son went to school, I used to volunteer for, kids that had, behavioral problems, and it's bad. It's like really, really bad. Okay, so it says here, she said Roger said the student was Roger said the student was aerated and the room was ransacked. Roger said the student threw multiple chairs towards her and another assistant principal. He threw a wooden hanger, knocking her right eye out the socket. I grabbed my face. That's what Roger said. She said she grabbed her face while it was just coming down of her out of her head and stumbled out of the classroom door. Rogers told reporters nurses and 911 was called and asked for her cell phone to call her husband to come and get her, not realizing the extent of her damage. She didn't even know, he hit her so hard with the wooden hanger. She didn't even know, the damage that this young man did. She probably just thought, he hit her, really hard, and blood is just gushing from her face, and she just wanted to get to her family. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing anyone would want to do is get home to your family, because that means a lot to you. This is not your child. You know what I'm saying? You there to teach this child, to help this child, but some kids just can't be helped. You know what I'm saying? Some kids is just so messed up that you can't blame the child because you don't know what his sickness was. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was autism or what was wrong going on with him, or he just had ADHD, or you don't know. So anyway, Rogers told police. Okay. She said, not realizing the extent of her damage, she said she was airlifted, damn, in Parkland Memorial Hospital in Dallas, where she had surgery on her eye. Doctors believe she is blinded, and another surgeon to remove her eye is likely. She said, I believe in God for a miracle, for restoration of my eye. I don't know how this kid even got a coat hanger, you know what I'm saying, in his hand. He was wilding, so I don't know, I feel like if you teaching children that has ADHD or whatever, they should not have any type of weapons that they can grab. I mean, a chair definitely, because a chair is like where they sit at, but they have other objects there where they can get to. I mean, the kid was really basically wilding out, like, for real. I can't even say no more about this. Rogers went on to blame the incident on Texas government Greg Abbott and the Texas legislature. She said a lack of funding for public schools had led educators to struggle with academics, students, discipline, teachers' retention, and less student support. To date, Governor Abbott had failed to release these funds because his political priorities and school choices. Rogers said she called on Abbott to allocate some money from the state $32 billion surplus to schools. Our safety is important too, Rogers said. We have not feared being in the classroom with an aggressive student. She also said the state may need to make changes to chapter 37 of the Texas Education Code, which deals with discipline to better protect people working in schools. The ISD said in a statement that the student has been restricted to a specified location and is prohibited from campus. They said the incident had been referred to the Navarro County District Attorney's Office and the Juvenile Probation Department. CISD's Superintendent Stephanie Howell said the district is now focused on making staff and students feel safe in school. But my thing is this here. Like I said, I was a parent that would volunteer in schools a lot, in my son's school. And, a lot of schools have kids with ADHD and different type of problems. And a lot of parents should, volunteer to sit into the schools, because the ones that have ADHD and other problems, it really is tough. It's tough. And only reason why, like when I volunteered, I was a parent, so I can do that. And I basically can talk to kids the way I wanted to. That's the difference. A teacher has to conduct herself as a teacher. But when parents volunteer in school, you can talk to the kids any way you want to. If they want to talk street, you can talk street with them. What are they going to do? You know what I'm saying? Come for you. Like, if you're a parent, like, it is what it is. You understand? So, it's a lot of parents that need to volunteer to help these teachers because you already know they're underpaid. And Greg Abbott, what he's doing, he's only supporting basically, allegedly, private schools. How is that? I don't understand that. How are you just doing private schools when there's money out there for the public schools? It's more public schools than there is private schools. So now this woman, Miss Rogers, done lost her eye because this kid wilded out. You understand? So now she may never teach again because she's gonna have to go through surgeries and all type of stuff. And they took the kid, they said, to a detention center. That kid, like I said, I don't know what his medical history is or whatever, if he had ADHD or autism or whatever, but I don't think jail is good for him. You know what I'm saying? I don't think so. Because some kids need to be medicated. You have kids that's in the school that's being on medication. And if the parents is not giving them their medication, this is what happens. This is the outcome from you not giving the kid the medication that they need. You understand? If you skipping and stuff like that there, kids, they just don't know what they're doing. That's why they're on medication. Or maybe for him to be in that class, you know what I'm saying? Something was wrong. Something definitely was wrong. And like I said, these teachers are underpaid, like so underpaid. These should be I'm going to be real with you. Let me just say this here. I told y'all before, I'm from Jersey. So our teaching in my day was different from teaching when I came to New York. Like, I never heard of junior high, schools like that. I've never heard of that in my life. I've never heard of that, not saying in my life, but until I came to New York. Because our schools went from, it's probably not now, but our schools went from kindergarten to 8th grade. 8th grade, you go to high school, you get the hell on out and go to college. That's what you do. But here, I know my own son, my son went to one school and graduated and had to go to another school. Like, what the hell is that? Like, I didn't understand that. Like, he's only in the 5th grade. Like, why is he going to a whole nother school? I just think that's stupid. Because I feel the schools that I went to, we didn't have, like, I'm telling you the truth. We did not have, like math classes, English classes, science classes, stuff like that. We ain't did that. No. Hell to the no. We didn't get up out of our class and go to another class to walk the halls and stuff like. We did not do that. I'm telling y'all, we did not do that. Hell to the no. Our teacher, she taught every subject. Yes. She taught every subject. Ain't no damn science teacher here, no da-da-da teacher here. Only thing was different that we did go to was gym and cooking. You know what I'm saying? That's different. Arts and craft, that's different. But to teach you an education, it was one teacher. She taught the whole class. Your books was in the back. Math books, phonics, whatever, science, history, each book. You did not leave to go to another class and be in no hallways and shit, walking to school and all that. We didn't do that type stuff. Like, we really didn't. It was so different when I came here, and I was like, they let y'all get up and go to another class? And y'all went? Like, it was like freedom. Like, I'm looking at it like freedom because I've never, I didn't know about it. You know what I'm saying? So it was different for me. It was different. It just was different. So I found that kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was different. And my son said, yeah, I had to go to this class. And I was like, the teacher ain't come to y'all? I don't understand. That's kind of crazy because if you in the classroom and you're doing science, I don't think the kids should be able to get up and go to the history class next. I think they need to sit their behinds down and the history teacher coming in to the class. I can't understand how New York do their school. But this is in New York. I'm talking about New York. I'm not saying no other state or whatever like that. I'm just saying New York because we didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have like middle schools and stuff like that. Like we had one school, like I said, you from kindergarten to 8th grade. 8th grade, you go to high school. After high school, you finish your education in college and do what you need to do. But otherwise, no. But anyway, y'all, I want y'all to see the video, okay, y'all? I just had to say that because it's really heartbreaking that this woman, you know, been working for the Board of Education for so long, and this kid like ruined her life. You know what I'm saying? Like ruined her where she's permanently. But y'all, God is good. We're gonna pray for her, and we're gonna keep on praying that her eyes can be healed. You understand? I mean, I believe that. I believe in God, and I believe that, you know, if we pray hard enough, she pray hard enough, that it can happen. You can never say what was not going to happen. You understand? You never know. But I'm going to pray for her, and I'm so sorry this happened to her, Miss Rogers. I'm so sorry, you know, this happened, but you're a strong woman, you know what I'm saying? And I want her to keep teaching, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I believe she's a good teacher, you know, a assistant principal. You know, we don't really have them. We do not have them. We're losing teachers because these kids is wilding, you know what I'm saying? So they don't want to even be bothered with these kids. But hopefully that she, you know, can overcome this here and go back to teaching. You know what I'm saying? Don't let this one kid, you know, even though I know what happened to her was traumatic, but we need good people like her, you know. All right, y'all. I'm going to let y'all see the video, right, y'all? All right.
Good morning. I'd like to thank you all for being here. Thank you to Corsicana ISD for allowing me to use this space. Please understand that what I'm going to say today are my words. This is not coming from Corsicana ISD. First, thank you all from the depths of my heart for all of your prayers. They have given me and my family strength during these very difficult and trying times. Thank you for all the meals, the cards, the ways you have assisted us financially, and everything else you've done. And I'm so very, very grateful. I will be reading a short statement, but I will not be taking any questions. On Thursday, August 15th, during lunch, I heard our behavioral teacher call on the radio to administrators for assistance. When I arrived, the teacher and students were outside the classroom. One student was holding his head, having been assaulted by the student remaining in the classroom. I entered where the student was still irate and found the room ransacked with overturned furniture. I knew I had to be as calm as possible, and I spoke lowly and slowly so as not to enrage him any further. He picked up a chair and acted as if he would throw it. He finally did throw it at me, but I caught it midair. He picked up another chair to throw at me when another assistant principal entered the room. I used the first chair to block the second. He picked up a third and threw it at the other assistant principal, and I used that initial chair to block the one that he threw at her. After blocking the chair thrown at the other assistant principal, he threw a wooden hanger at me, but I couldn't stop it fast enough. The hanger hit me in my right eye and knocked it out of the socket. I grabbed my face while blood was pouring out of my head and stumbled out of the classroom door. The nurse and 911 were called. I asked for my cell phone to call my husband to come get me, not realizing the extent of the damage. When paramedics arrived, they determined I would need to be airlifted to Parkland Medical Center in Dallas. I underwent surgery as soon as possible. My doctors were able to reinsert my eye. However, they determined I had been blinded and currently believe that my damage is permanent. I will have to have an additional surgery to repair my eyelid because doctors are believing, I'm so sorry. I underwent surgery as soon as possible and doctors were able to reinsert my eye. However, they determined that I've been blinded and they currently believe that my damage is permanent. I will have to have an additional surgery to repair my eyelid. And because doctors are believing my blindness to be permanent, removing my eye may have to be an option. I'm still believing God for a miracle for restoration of my sight. My teaching career began here in Corsicana. This tragedy affected not just my husband, my children, my grandchild, my family, and my friends, but it has also negatively affected my school, my district, and my community. Because of the numerous districts in which my husband and I have worked and the thousands of students I've taught, the impact of my injury, it's far-reaching. Chapter 37 of our Texas Education Code, which was originally created in 1995 to help protect our marginalized students with regard to how students are disciplined, may need to be reevaluated so that no paraprofessional, no teacher, or principal, simply put, no educator should ever be put in this situation. I fully understand education laws and the need for students to be educated with their peers. Chapter 37 may need to incorporate changes to address the mental, social, and emotional well-being of these students. As educators, we care about our students and their safety, but we must also care about the safety of our educational staff. Our safety is important too. We should never have to fear being in a classroom with an aggressive student. Everyone's protection is paramount. Overly aggressive students need services to meet their needs, but I do not believe the safety of other students and the educational staff should suffer. Lastly, Governor Greg Abbott holds some accountability in the safety of our students and our staff. For years, our schools have suffered unfunded mandates, which have included pay raises. Our basic allotment, which funds our day-to-day expenses, have not increased since 2019, even though we have had rising costs on absolutely everything, including new unfunded mandates. This is 2024. I'd like to quote a friend who gave me permission to use their words. Quote, "If our students don't have what they need to be successful in Texas, this is not simply problematic. I hold that it is immoral. Texas has the 9th largest economy in the world, not the country, the world. Texas has over a $32 billion budget surplus, yet we spend the 8th least in terms of allotment per student in the U.S. Regardless of what you believe this says about our priorities as a state, this is a choice, and choices have consequences. Article 7, Section 1 of the Texas Constitution states a general diffusion of knowledge being essential to the preservation of the liberties and rights of the people. It shall be the duty of the legislature of the state to establish and make suitable provision for the support and maintenance of an efficient system of public free schools. I would argue that for Texas public schools in 2024 to be funded at 2019 levels is unsuitable provision, to say the least. To that end, I believe the state legislature bears some degree of culpability when our schools, our public schools, struggle due to improper funding. Article 7, Section 3A of the Texas Constitution states, 1/4 of the revenue derived from the state occupation taxes shall be set apart annually for the benefit of the public free schools. Without delving too deeply into the proverbial weeds, allow me to simply remind you of an earlier point. The state of Texas has a $32 billion surplus. I'm not a mathematician, but to have that abysmal level of spending in a booming state economy with a $32 billion surplus simply does not add up. Simply stated, Texas is vastly underfunded. According to a study conducted by the Kinder Institute, 73% of our Texas public school districts are underfunded. When schools are underfunded, all stakeholders suffer. It is important to point out that the decision to continue funding Texas public schools at 2019 levels in 2024 is a choice, and the collateral damage of Governor Abbott's choices include, but are not limited to, academic struggles, student discipline struggles, teacher retention challenges, stifled program advancements, loss of student enrichment programs, lessening of needed student supports, erosion of parent and external stakeholder trust, decreased student engagement, end quote. To date, Governor Abbott has failed to release these funds because his political priority is school choice. And it seems he prefers to perpetuate a system of the haves and have-nots. People fail to realize that public schools are required to accept any student, regardless of abilities. Private schools are not and do not. Public schools are required to have certified teachers. Private schools are not. Public schools are required to undergo state mandated testing. Private schools are not. These are just a few of the inequities. By further decreasing funds from public schools, which are already grossly underfunded, as those of us in education already know, to give to those who can already afford to send their children to private schools is simply wrong. It's wrong to have so many mandates that make educating our public school children more difficult. It's wrong to take money from grossly underfunded schools. I've been in education for 30 years, and I am a proud product of public schools. I believe in public school education, but what happened to me should never happen to another educator. Mr. Abbott, release the funds because you are also culpable for what happened to me. Thank you for your time.